Maximus. This book is about children above 180 IQ, Stanford Binet. Uh, this used to be the standard for IQ tests. It's now Mensa. I have a 2% IQ son, which means that I'm smarter than 98% of the population age 18 to 55. Because intelligence is largely correlated to DNA or offspring, you're likely going to be as smart, if not smarter than me, son. So it's important that you know these things, just so that when you experience them, you don't think that there's something wrong with you. This was a very eye-opening book for me to read, and it was very helpful. So I'm going to start. A genius is a person who, seeing farther and probing deeper than other people, has a different set of ethical values from theirs, and has energy enough to give effect to this extra vision and its valuations in whatever manner best suits his or her specific talents. Here is brought out the tendency to heterodoxy, which characterizes genius and is the source of much of its difficulty. It is not so easy for mental giants who neither hate nor intend to injure their fellows to realize that nevertheless their fellows hate mental giants and would like to destroy them, not only enviously because the juxtaposition of a superior wounds their vanity, but quite honestly because it frightens them. Fear will drive men to any extreme, and the fear inspired by a superior being cannot be reasoned away. Persons of genius are more individual than any other people, less capable, consequently, of fitting themselves without hurtful compression into any of the small number of molds which society provides in order to save its members the trouble of forming their own character. If they are of strong character and break their fetters, they become a mark for the society which has not succeeded in reducing them to commonplace, to point with them solemn warning as wild or erratic. Another condition of genius frequently alleged is that of personal isolation. Schopenhauer said that it is often the case that a great mind prefers soliloquy to the dialogue he may have in the world. Time after time, one detects from the lives or writings of genius that solitude is not its destiny, but only a retreat, not the normal fruition of its being, but an empty harbor shuttering it from the tortures, griefs, and calumnies of the world. Sometimes I can't read my own cursive. You see isolation as necessary, corollary of the insistence upon perfection and accuracy which characterizes genius. A passion for perfection will make its subject solitary as nothing else can. At every step he leaves a group behind, and when at last he reaches the goal, alas, where are his early comrades? The investigation of the family history of highly talented individuals demonstrates very clearly the effects of biological bastardization and shows why it may lead to the production of genius. It results in a complicated psychological structure in which the components of two strongly opposing parents remain in tension throughout life. This tension acts as an effective factor that produces in the genius the labial equilibrium, the effective superpressure, that continuous, restless impulsiveness which carries him far beyond placid traditional practice and the simple satisfaction of life. On the other hand, in regard to his intellectual abilities, the polar tension creates in the genius his wide mental horizon, the diverse and complicated wealth of his talent, the all-embracing personality. Bastardization produces internal contrasts and conflicts, affects tensions, highly strung and uncompensated passions, and a spiritual ability. It consequently creates a predisposition to genius, but also points to psychopathological complications. Very few eminent adults have originated in the families of laborers. In families of more than one child, there was found a strong tendency for the great man to be the oldest. Solitude seems to have played a rather striking role in the lives of these great men. Either by nature or opportunity, they have stayed a great deal alone. Many of the men studied enjoyed physical activity. These great men were, in the decided majority of cases, derived from well-to-do families. Most of them were privately educated by tutors or in private schools. Extreme maladjustment to school is characteristic of children testing with abnormally high IQ. Noteworthy is the story of a mother having her son take extra books to read, as he always finished faster than his classmates. The teacher refused, and after a week the boy was in absolute rebellion and taken out of school. The occupational status of the fathers of the enlightened children studied all fall in class 1 or class 2 of the rating: professional, clerical, or business. Architect was noted a few times. One of the great children arouses feelings of jealousy and antagonism as well as admiration, because he does not hesitate to contradict erroneous statements or to rectify imperfections in what others say or do. He is a stickler for the exact. No statement is right unless it is exactly right. The characteristics Binet chose as symptomatic of intellectual power are the ability to make and maintain a given direction, the capacity to make adaptations for the purpose of obtaining a desired end, and the power of auto-criticism. Children of exceptionally high intelligence do not regress towards mediocrity as they mature, but maintain their initial distinguished status. The highly intelligent are consistently noted as being much less submissive in attitude than their peers, much more pronounced for the boys involved in the study than the girls. Teachers report highly intelligent children for restlessness and lack of interest more often than their peers. It has been amply proved by measurements that highly intelligent children are strong, healthy, and fine-looking as a group, exceeding the generality of children in all those respects. A gifted child is far more likely to have a physically superior body over their peers from the general population. As gifted children approach and reach maturity, they reap the benefits of superior vitality, size, and beauty. Another problem of development with reference to occupation grows out of the versatility of these children. So far from being one-sided in ability and interest, they are typically capable of so many different kinds of success that they may have difficulty in confining themselves to a reasonable number of enterprises. A choice must be made among the numerous possibilities, since modern life calls for specialization. A lesson which many gifted persons never learn as long as they live is that human beings in general are inherently very different from themselves in thought, action, general intention, and interests. Many a reformer has died at the hands of a mob which he was trying to improve in the belief that other human beings can and should enjoy what he enjoys. This is one of the most painful and difficult lessons that each gifted child must learn if personal development is to proceed successfully. It is more necessary that this be learned than that any school subject be mastered. Failure to learn how to tolerate in a reasonable fashion the foolishness of others leads to bitterness, disillusionment, and misanthropy. The highly intelligent child will be intellectually capable of self-determination, and his greatest value to society can be realized only if he is truly self-possessed and detached from the influences of both positive and negative suggestion. The more intelligent the child, the truer this statement is. It is especially unfortunate, therefore, that so many gifted children have in authority over them persons of no special fitness for the task, who cannot gain or keep the respect of these good thinkers. Such unworthy guardians arouse by the process of reintegration, contempt for authority wherever it is found, and the inability to yield gracefully to command. Thus, some gifted persons, mishandled in youth, become contentious, aggressive, and stubborn to an extent which renders them difficult and disagreeable in all human relationships involving subordination. The tendency to become isolated is one of the most important factors to be considered in guiding the development of personality in highly intelligent children. For the best discipline routine, the parent must be more intelligent than the child, or the child's respect for the opinions of the former will inevitably be lost. Very readily, such a child perceives that in comparison with himself, his parent is slow-witted and lacking in general information. One more problem may be noted here. There is with intelligent children a stronger tendency to argue about what is required of them than is found with the average child. This tendency to argue as to why and wherefore of a requirement is met both at home and at school. To be a leader of his contemporaries, a child must be more intelligent, but not too much more intelligent than those who are to be led. Generally speaking, a leadership pattern will not form, or it will break up, when a discrepancy of more than about 30 points of IQ comes to exist between the leader and the led. To develop each according to his ability is democracy at its ideal test. It is believed that education for leisure time is a special responsibility of those who teach highly intelligent children. A game like chess or checkers can be shared with pleasure, irrespective of age, by any two people who have a sufficient mental nearness. Hence, they help a very gifted child to find company and enjoy himself in all age groups, a very important factor in the social development of such a child. Of all the problems which the most intelligent children face regarding conduct, these 5 are the most consistent and important for fine leadership. 1. To find enough hard and interesting work at school. 2. To suffer fools gladly. 3. To keep from becoming negativistic towards authority. 4. To keep from becoming hermits. 5. To avoid the formation of habits of extreme chicanery. Especially hard for intelligent children to bear is the foolishness of accepted authority. Highly intelligent children are ordinarily friendly and gregarious by nature, but their efforts at forming friendship tend to be defeated by the scarcity of like-minded contemporaries. The idea that such children exist at all is even laughed at to scorn by teachers and principals who have a quarter of a century of experience behind them. These children have no way of making themselves known. The mental tests make them known. They become known only to those educators who believe in mental tests. So all of that to say, Maximus, the greater you become, the more important it is to understand these things and to understand that it's okay. I'll always be here for you. I will always be here to guide and mentor you to the best of my abilities. And I am already proud of the man that I know that you are and are going to become, and how great you are, and how great I will get to watch you become. I love you, Maximus.